Hello and welcome to the DevOps Directive Office Hours, episode number 6, I believe. Today we have a special guest, Eddie Jaoude. So I'll bring on Eddie and have him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about the project that we'll be working on today. Eddie, welcome to the show.
Hi Sid. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. And so I'm trying out a new streaming setup, so everyone can let us know in the chat. 1, do we look and sound okay? 2, where are you from in the world? Love to see where people are tuning in from. And then Eddie can talk about this project and we'll get started.
Awesome. Let me know when you want me to go. I've got it up on my screen. I'm ready to start talking about the project.
Okay, sounds good. I'll switch over to your screen share and yeah, might as well jump right in and hopefully people can let us know in the chat how things are looking and sounding while you get started.
Awesome. So as Sid said, my name is Eddie. I'm a YouTuber like Sid. I'm a full stack developer. But as developers, we still need to deploy our projects. And I do dabble with, DevOps, CI, CD, and Kubernetes. But I do forget these things and do get stuck because it's not something I do every day. And so I'm super excited to show you and share with you our community API project that is using Nest, that is with an S. So nest.js, which is our Node backend API project, and it's connecting to DataStax's Astra, which is a serverless NoSQL database in the cloud, which uses Cassandra behind the scenes. But what I love about it is we can connect via REST, so as a document store, we can go via GraphQL, and we can go via Cassandra query native language if we really want to as well. So that's really cool. So I'm super excited about using this. And we've got a Kubernetes cluster for our community, where at the moment we've just got deployed a Discord bot, or 2, like an example one, and the one we're building on now. And Sid helped me set that up on my YouTube channel, so you can go check that out afterwards if you want. So Sid, you explained it so well. At the time, it made so much sense. I went away, it was crystal clear, I was super happy. But I think like a month or 2 later now, I've kind of forgotten what a lot of things mean. So thank you so much for helping deploy this again. Well, not this one again, but helping deploy again. And also one thing we will do differently is with the Discord bot, it didn't need routes coming into the Kubernetes cluster. So it was just kind of data going out. Well, the difference with this is we will need, and this is where I might get it wrong or my information gets a bit sketchy, we will need an Ingress, Nginx, load balancer, which will route traffic into the Kubernetes cluster. And so we're going to do the deployment today and extra config so we can sort out the routing. I think that's correct.
No, that all sounds good. And I think that is one aspect of Kubernetes that a lot of people find challenging. Is like you have this whole setup, you're deploying your applications, but then these are running inside of some virtual machine on DigitalOcean, in DigitalOcean's data center. How do we actually get these traffic from an end user into that actual software application? And so we'll walk through that today, hopefully get things set up and then add some automation if we have time, and it should be good to go.
Awesome. I'm super excited. I got some tabs open already as well. So hopefully I'm prepared-ish.
Yeah. So I think if you want to pull up the DigitalOcean tab, we can just look at the cluster itself. I think you had already installed Ingress on the cluster.
I have. So this is the cluster we created, like I think it said 3 months ago. I can't believe it's been that long. So yeah, this is if I go to my Kubernetes tab, 3 months ago. How time flies when you're having fun. So that's my Kubernetes cluster. For anyone who wants to know, it's $10 a month, and you can deploy multiple apps to this as well. But be aware it's only a single node. So if something goes wrong with it, it will go down. It hasn't got the resilience. You'd have to get at least 2, I think, which then will take it from $10 to $20 a month. And then, oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to expand on that point around the
Sure.
beauty of Kubernetes is that you can bring in as many nodes as you want effectively. So you can have, I believe, up to 500 nodes is the
Wow.
default max. And so you could have literally 500 machines running in a single cluster, and then you can schedule your workloads. So like the Discord bot, the API server, any other applications that you're building, and Kubernetes figures out where and how to deploy those on the set of nodes that you have. And in this case, node corresponds to a virtual machine in DigitalOcean. It could also correspond to a bare metal, a server running in your server room, wherever that may be.
Nice. And I think it puts a lot of people off. I mean, I know I heard about Kubernetes for years. And I remember being like a Java Spring conference like many, many moons ago when I did Java. And people were talking about it then. And I was like, oh, this sounds really scary. And when we did it on the live stream, I just couldn't believe. Yes, I'm sure it gets a lot more complicated later on when you want to scale massively. But to get started, I couldn't believe how it was only $10 a month. I could host lots of apps. And it was just a few lines of YAML config. I mean, if I bring up the actual project that we deployed, it was
Eddie
Eddie
bot,
Bot.
yep.
And then if we go to the Kubernetes folder, it was literally this YAML config. And I was like mind blown. Yes, it looks quite scary at first, but when you have someone take like Sid who takes you through it, it's like, oh, actually, this now makes sense. And we even had some secrets because we needed our Discord token secret as well. And so yeah, it was it really made sense. So this is awesome. So we deploy this via GitHub Action as well. So that was very cool. I can quickly show that as well. I know we're going to dig more into this, into more details to explain what it is. If I go to workflows, and if I go to, I think it was release. So what we do is we create a release, and which is, oh no, that is just create release. Wait a second. It must be the Docker one. So we create the Docker container and we deploy it so not deploy it, we publish it to the GitHub package registry. So again, that's separate. We're not doing that today because it's done already. So this is the deploy of the Kubernetes to the Kubernetes cluster. Like it's literally the YAML config that you saw on the other page for the Kubernetes cluster to configure it. And this is the deployment part. And so when I saw all this and it all come together, like I said, it made sense at the time. I've kind of forgotten some bits of it now. But I was like, this is so powerful. And I understand why it's taking the tech community by storm.
Awesome. I'm going to run through some comments real quick just to say hi to folks in the audience. We've got Ashwin telling us to get ahead, go on. We're taking too much time on the intro for him, it looks like. Hello to Prathamesh. Hello. Mukund, thanks for doing an AV check for us. I'm glad that we're looking and sounding okay. Ali, welcome. I feel like he joins at the end of the stream, so glad to have him here at the beginning. Awesome. Hello to MNC and Carl. Hello, Son. All right.
Can I do a big shout out to
Carl? Yeah,
Carl,
please do.
if that's okay. The reason why I want to do an extra big shout out to Carl, this is Carl's GitHub behind me, is because Carl has done most of the work on our API project. So I need to give a big shout out to Carl to say thank you so much. We're actually now deploying what you've built for us, which is just so much. Everyone's going to see like how awesome your project is. So thank you so much for working on that. And I know we still got a few PRs that we're working through that are open as well. But yeah, thank you so much. I want to share your GitHub username in the chat. I can't share links here because it's not my stream, but I'll share your GitHub username. Everyone go and follow Carl on GitHub, doing so much awesome
I'll go find
things.
the real link so we can make it easier on people.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. But yeah, Carl's done so much amazing work on this. I'm super excited. This is going to underpin loads of our community projects, which is great. So this is the first project we're deploying, not the first project we're deploying to the Kubernetes cluster, but the first project that needs external routing coming into the Kubernetes cluster. Because then we've got like live map UIs that I want to put behind me on the green screen, because like this isn't my real office. This is my office for those of you who haven't seen. So yeah, I want a live map of all the people who are joining the stream and stuff. So yes, it's going to be super exciting in the next couple of months.
All right. Awesome. What do you think? Should we make a quick to-do list in a GitHub issue? I know that's a best practice that you like to follow. So would that be a good place to start?
Let's do it. Okay. deploying to Kubernetes. Here we go. Let's have a look. So what should we do first? What's our first step?
I mean, let's take some credit for stuff that you and Kyle have already done, right? So we've already sort of have a Docker file and have built and pushed the images. So those can be 2 steps that we can check off before we even get started.
I've got a confession. I probably copied and pasted the one we did on the live stream.
Hey, no worries.
So you're right. Let's check some things off. Start off like on a positive note. That's good. So Docker file, Docker container registry.
Yep, we push the image there. We're going to need to set up a deployment.yaml, so a deployment configuration for the API service.
Is that, do you mean as a GitHub action? Or
no, this is just the Kubernetes resource definition that we'll create locally on your system.
Okay.
It'll be in the code base, and that'll be what we actually apply to the cluster.
Got you.
Yep. So deployment
Does that make sense?
will also, yeah, that's good. We'll also need a service. So deployment is the thing that tells Kubernetes run n copies of the API server. A service is kind of like an internal load balancer that we'll put in front of those copies, and Kubernetes will load balance across them. So again, a service config. So that's also a resource definition.
Okay.
And then the third piece will be the Ingress configuration.
Got you.
And so that'll tell the Nginx Ingress controller that you installed on the cluster how to route traffic to these pods or to these API servers.
Okay, got you.
Cool. So those are the configurations that we're going to need to make and apply to the cluster. We also, I think, need to create a secret. I forget if you did that. You're working on it just ahead of stream, so we might have that done already.
I didn't quite do that.
Okay.
No. Let me do. It'll be DataStax, Astra DB secrets.
Yep. And so this will be a secret containing the credentials for the database that this API is going to call into. So we'll need to create. It'll be a GitHub secret that'll get published as a Kubernetes secret. And then within our deployment configuration, we will consume that secret and turn it into an environment variable for the API to use.
Do we need to do that as an extra step? So would I need to say, would that be done as part of one of the previous steps? Or
it would be part of deployment config, depending how the API server code is configured. If it's already configured to consume it as an environment variable, then we can just just include it in that deployment config step.
Yeah, it will be an environment variable. So when you run the Docker container, which we haven't tested, but because when we run it locally, we're running it without the Docker container. So when we run it, it is an environment variable.
So why don't we add that as a step even before then? Test the container locally.
Okay.
And we'll make sure things are working before we go ahead and get this config going.
Good plan.
Cool.
I should have done that before the stream.
Hey,
my bad.
It's all good. Great. So why don't we jump right in on testing the container locally? If you want to pull up VS Code, we can do it. We can do that.
I need to make sure my tab is closed with my environment secrets. That's
why you got to have multiple screens. You can do the sensitive stuff off camera.
But I don't think you can have 2 VS codes open though, of the same project.
You just go to File, New Window.
Okay.
And it'll give you another window of it. But
because if I do code in the terminal, I think it opens. Yeah, it just opens the original one that's open.
But if you go File and then New Window, then you can open the same project again in that new window. I think.
Okay, I've never done this before. Let me try. Do I just go Open Workspace or just Open?
Just open folder or Workspace, either one.
Let's have a look. So let me close a lot of these things. These are things that we were working on before. One thing, so definitely don't want to open the .env file. That one we definitely don't want to open. But let's have a look at the Docker file. Let me just open that and you can have a quick look over it. Because we did have some environment variables come in to build the, where is it? The GitHub token, because we have a package, an npm package that Carl wrote, which is on the GitHub container registry. But to download it, it's not like npm container registry where you can just be unauthenticated. On the GitHub like npm container registry, you have to be authenticated. So we had a lot of challenges with that, to try and get a GitHub token, like a one-use GitHub token for the GitHub action into, as you can see, we echo it out to npm rc, so we can just install the npm package.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Let me just open this, but I think your idea is going to work. API. Let's have a look. And how's the chat going? Carl's probably saying, Eddie, that's all wrong. Let me see. Carl's saying set environment variables. A microservice architecture would have made the stream much, much harder. Well, I think once you've got it done once, then it makes it kind of, I think, easier. The first time is always the hardest. Unfortunately, that did not work. I'll just use Vim in the other terminal because it just keeps opening this window. It's really
Okay.
smart. So I'll just do it in Vim. No problem.
Cool.
Okay.
And Ashwin has a question about what a microservice is. And so microservices are the idea of taking your application and splitting it into many smaller pieces. Oftentimes, this is used to solve organizational problems. So it's very hard to work on a code base with hundreds and hundreds of people all trying to commit to the same thing. If you're able to break it into logical components and isolate those with strong interfaces, it allows you to move more quickly on each of those and deploy them independently of each other. And so that's what he's referring to there.
And they can be in different technologies. They can deploy at different rates. Like there's loads of massive benefits to them. But there are also some deployment challenges keeping things in sync and make sure the versions all work together. So
yeah,
like with everything, there's massive pros and cons. If I can answer Ali's question saying your packages are on NPM or GitHub or both, just on GitHub. So I'm going to, I won't show you, but yeah, trust me, it's just on GitHub at the moment. What I was going to show was the Docker package, so which is very, very similar to an NPM package. GitHub treats the container registry, well, the registry, I think, all quite the same, and it does its magic in the background. So we have a GitHub action that creates our release. So we have 053, and it puts in, if you go to the releases list, it automatically increments the numbers. If it's a bug fix, then it bumps the last digit. If it's a feature, it should bump. Here, this one had a feature in it, so it went from 0.4 to 0.5. But the reason why I wanted to show you these numbers, so 0.5.3 is the latest. If we go to our container registry on GitHub for this project, you can see it also says that it's 0.5.3, so the exact same number, and this all happens on GitHub Actions automatically for us.
Yeah, I think the other piece of Ali's question is around the node dependency packages. And so many of them will be hosted on NPM, right, that you're pulling, but then there's this one specific package that is in the GitHub node. Yeah, there you go, the setup Stargate package. That's why you had to do that with the GitHub token.
My apologies. Sorry, I misunderstood the question. Yes, you're right. 99% of them are on npm, which is standard, what a lot of people use, but we wanted to use the GitHub one, and this is the package under Carl's account, and it is public, so everyone can see this. You don't have to be logged in to do it. But for container and you can have private ones, but we've made ours public, or Carl's one public, but you have to have a token, even if it's a one-use token from GitHub Action, to download from it. I guess it's GitHub's way of just protecting themselves. So it can be, your own token, right? If you wanted to download this, you could go and create your own token for yourself, and then you could download this. It's fine. There's no way we have to approve or anything like that. It's just a way of GitHub just knowing you are who you are, basically.
Cool. And hello to Donnie. Donnie is he's been on the stream a few times. We're working on taking a project that he built and adding a bunch of DevOps practices to it. So that's been fun. We're about, I don't know, probably three-quarters of the way through that. We've done 3 or 4 streams so far.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So what we need to do to test locally is to build the container locally if you don't already have it, or pull it. We could just pull the latest, would be fine.
Okay, let's have a look. I want to let you walk me through this. Let me make this bigger. It's even bigger. Oh, not the volume up. There we go.
All right. Yeah, so if we just paste in that Docker pull command, we should get our image.
Oh, it would help if I had Docker running.
Yep. Yep.
I restarted just before the live stream.
Yeah, we were.
all the gear and no idea.
So yeah, the
Yeah, it's
steps
just
though, we'll pull the image, then we'll issue a Docker run command where we'll need to pass it. Will it start up without the environment variable, or do we need to pass it the
oof.
DataStax AstroDB?
I'm hoping Carl answered that question, but I'm guessing it will crash if it can't connect.
We'll see. We'll see.
And there's a question from Ali. Shall we answer that while we're waiting for this to boot up?
Sure.
One last question. Your TypeScript schema is shared across services, or everyone contains a copy of the schema? Oh, great question. I think this is a very good common debate that people have. So really, every microservices should have everything contained. Like, you shouldn't share a database. They each have their own database. They each have their own kind of queues or whatever you're using. I know some people try and make it easier. They share a database, or they have an npm package that they share between all their projects. So it's like a domain, have a domain model that can be shared across all of them. There are benefits to that, but there are downsides as well. You start coupling yourself to the other microservices. So you really want it decoupled, because what happens if one's written in Java, one's in Python, one's in Node? Then they should still work. They should all have their own data. So if one is written in Java and that's for, say, I don't know, blog posts, and another one is written in Python and that's for job posts, and then you've got one written in Node, which is for your user management, they can still all talk to each other. Any one of them could be rewritten in isolation, and everything should still work. So the contract could be documentation, just saying that this is the documentation of our endpoint. If you do like microservices in Java, you do have different types of contract. I know Spring Boot has a lot of fancy stuff to do those sorts of things, but then you are tied to using Java for everything. I mean, you don't have to, but to get those benefits that you need to. So yeah, lots of there's pros and cons to different ways. I don't know what your thoughts are, Sid, on that.
Yeah, I think whenever possible, if you're going to share anything between a microservices, you want to break it into a formal library that has a well-defined interface to prevent it from being too coupled. So I think there's some things that you certainly want to share across services around tooling for logging or monitoring, or how you do some of the platform level items. It can make a lot of sense to write that once and then use that across your different services. But anything, you definitely want to avoid sort of this in-between land where you're sharing it, but it's not formally defined what that interface is. And that's where you end up with undesirable coupling.
Exactly, because one service shouldn't have the exact same domain model as the other. There might be an overlap. So, for example, like on the user ID, but it shouldn't have, if one's for blog posts and one's for job posts, they wouldn't have the same domain model and so forth. There would be a very small overlap. So I think it can run into problems like that. Probably a whole discussion for another time, maybe a whole Twitter space on that.
Yeah, I'm sure. So it looks like you were able to successfully pull. So now we'll want to issue a Docker run command. And we'll need a couple of flags. We'll need a -p flag to port forward, -p, and then what port is it running on?
Should be on 80.
Let's do 8080 on your local host, because 80 sometimes your MacBook won't like it.
Oh, true.
So if we go 8080 local to 80 in the container, that should be fine. And then let's do a -e for environment.
Okay.
And then the name of whatever your secret is inside the container, whatever it's looking for when it consumes it. We can look in the source code if you don't know it off the top of your head.
I don't. It should be in the docs. Let's check.
Yep.
Have we done a good job in putting in the documentation? Let's have a look. I don't think we have. We haven't updated it. Oh my word, a big fail. So if someone wants to get a green square, raise an issue on our repo to not this one. This one. I can just share the user and the project name. Raise an issue saying update documentation for environment variables, but I can from my other screen know what they are. But I don't want to share the values of them on this screen. Is that okay?
Correct. So what you'll want to do is drag that off screen and then export that environment variable in a separate command.
Got you.
Yep.
Yes. Okay,
Or we could
perfect. Let me
even,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's probably the easiest.
On the, is that the easiest?
Or you could
I've got it in a
pass, you
file.
could pass the file with uh, dash env file, and
And
then
what
just
does the file
pass.
format have to be? Is it just like a bash file, as in
Yeah, I think your .env as it's defined for your Docker Compose or whatever should
perfect?
work fine. So yeah,
Okay, let's try that.
yep.
That'll
So
be something new for
dash
me to learn.
dash env dash file.
env dash. Okay, this is new for me. Let's have a go. File. Yeah.
Yep, and then just is it in your local directory /env .env?
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. And then we need the tag from the container, so that ghcrio Eddie Hub community latest.
Um.
The
Oh,
image,
so we
the
need
image
what? Sorry,
tag.
the this one.
Yep. So just telling it which image to run.
Do I need to pass any flag or just paste it in as it is?
Should just be as is. So yeah,
Okay.
let's give that a shot and see what happens.
Okay. Hopefully, should I do it off screen? Would anything be displayed from the env? I'm a bit nervous. I
Not
can always delete
unless,
the
I mean,
database.
you
It's
can do it
fine.
off screen if you want, but unless your app is
Maybe
logging the credentials to the console, it
no,
should
it
not.
shouldn't. I'm just gonna do it off screen for a moment. Oh my god, it worked!
All right.
Yes.
So that's what we were
So if
hoping to
anyone
see.
doesn't believe me, that's the command we ran, and then it said start prod,
Yep.
and it just worked.
All
These
right. So
things never
now
work first time
now
unless you're
let's
working
go
with
to your
C.
browser and hit an endpoint and see what happens
Okay, so we
on
should be able to
8080.
just
Maybe zoom a few
8080.
clicks.
Oh, okay.
So in the README, I noticed that it was calling out 3000. So you could have just had the wrong port.
I do. Yes, you're right. So if I control C that.
Yep. So let's kill it. It's trying hard.
I busted it, but you're right. It is in the README. You're right. It is nest.js runs on 3000. So when I said 80, that was very bad of me.
So in a new terminal, let's kill the process separately. So just do docker ps.
Docker. Not sure what happened to my.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't want to die, but yeah, just copy that and then do docker kill and then paste that in. You could do docker stop and then it would stop gracefully, but docker kill is fine.
Okay, cool.
Now let's rerun the same thing, but change the ports so that we're on 3000. Yeah, on both.
Yeah,
we could have left the
simple.
first one to 8080, but might as well make a match. Now let's go check on localhost 3000. Now we're talking.
Welcome to Eddie Hub. Yes, it's really small in the corner.
Yeah, there we go. Zoom it in. Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
So we have a container. We know that it works, and we can start on our next task.
Awesome. So we can actually check off test container locally. We can tick that off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Cool. Okay. Shall I also stop that? Oh, we can keep it running, I suppose, just in case we need it.
Yeah, it's fine. We're not doing anything else locally, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So the deployment config, I usually just Google Kubernetes deployment and grab one from the documentation as a starting point.
Okay. Let's do that. What am I Googling?
Kubernetes deployment. It's probably the first page in the documentation. Yeah, that should be fine. That one right there should be good enough to start. And then we'll just go through and modify all the fields that we need to.
Okay, so we do have a Kubernetes folder in here? I don't think we do, but we can create one.
Sure.
Let's create one. How do I create a folder? I have no idea.
You can right click or
New
there's a button
folder.
at the top. Yeah, there you go.
Kubernetes. I'll just call it Kubernetes to keep it consistent with all the other projects that we've got. And then what should we call the file? Deployment, did you say?
Yeah, deployment.yaml's fine. And we could put all of these resources into one file. We can put them into separate files. Either one's fine. Let's just put them all into one just to be convenient. And so let's just call, for now, just leave it deployment. That's fine. So okay. API versions, just saying which version of the Kubernetes API that we're using. The deployment object happens to live in the apps v1, so that's fine. For metadata, we're going to change the name as well as the app label. So here, let's call it Eddie Hub API or something similar.
Let me see what we called the other one. If I go to our Kubernetes cluster, and it would be under
deployments. Deployments.
Oh, there we go. So we do have we have Eddie bot deployment. We have Stargate deployment. So
yeah, so
you're right. We should call it.
You could call it something deployment. You don't necessarily have to because it is a deployment. So
okay.
Yeah.
I think we should call it Eddie Hub. I should have pre-pended all of those, but and then I can say Eddie Hub API maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Should I put deployment to be consistent, or is that too long now?
It's not too long. That's fine. Okay. And then for the label, let's go ahead and just do Eddie Hub API.
I think so. Eddie Hub API.
And then in the match labels, we want it to be the same. So Eddie Hub API.
And then for the replicas?
Depends how many replicas you want. If you want 3, three's a fine number. 1's a fine number. They're all in the same node, so you don't actually gain too much benefit from having multiple replicas. In terms of if the node goes down, they're all going down.
True.
And you can What was the question?
No, sorry, carry on. No,
I was gonna say you could have multiple replicas, each of them with a single virtual CPU, and then that would give you a little more scale potentially. I don't think you're going to be hitting this thing at the levels that will push it, but you tell me.
Yeah, I don't think so just yet. And just to clarify from me not knowing too much about this, when it's the replicas, is that the same as pods, or is that different?
Yeah, so a deployment will create replica sets, and that replica set will manage the pods. And so if we set that number to 3, it would create 3 pods.
Got you. Okay, so these are set at 1 basically.
Those are set at 1. For the Discord bot in particular, it's not really designed to have multiple copies running. If you had multiple copies running and you issued a command, you would get 2 responses back effectively. And so
yes, that's very true.
Yeah, so that's why we went with 1 there. For an API, it is a service which is stateless. All the state lives in the database, so you can have multiple replicas operating independently, scale up and down as much as you want.
Got you. Okay, so for simplicity, I want to put it to 1, but it's something we will probably put at 3 in the future as well.
Yeah, why don't we put it to 2, just so if there's anything that breaks when you go from 1 to 2, we'll find that out now instead of later. Like if there was something that was dependent on it being the only copy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the chat. Carl says take the Swagger endpoint. Yes, that could have been an option to have a better demo than just the. It's still running, but if rather than doing, I think it was just Swagger just to show what's available. So it's good to have Carl here. I got good memory. I think it was Swagger. It was, but I have killed it. I did do a Control C, so I don't know.
Who knows what state it's in? Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just do what we did before, which was Docker PS. Take that, kill it, and I'll start it again. Docker kill. I think I messed it up. And then if we build that again, or run it again, I should say. Maybe I need Chrome. Safari should still work. Oh yeah, it has work. Weird, it doesn't work in Safari. So yeah, it does work. So this is the stuff we've got, like stand-up endpoint, GitHub endpoint, calendar endpoint. And this is again all the awesome work that Carl has been doing. But yes, okay, I'm happy now that comes up and works as well. So that's very cool. Okay, cool. I'll leave that running as well.
Okay,
sorry, Okay, so what next? Sorry, I got a bit distracted.
We're in VS Code. We're defining our deployment.yaml. So we said 2 replicas. Ali suggested that, so we're going to go with his suggestion.
Thanks, Ali.
And he's saying if one crashes, the other's running. That's true. If you have a bug and something happens very intermittently, then that can be good. We'll want to update the label again on the template. So let's set it to Eddie Hub API. And then the name of the container, you can just call it maybe API. This is internal to the pod. Each container, because you can have more than one container, has a name. So API is fine. And then for image, we want the Docker image tag, like the one you used in the Docker run command.
Got you, which I probably closed now somewhere. I have.
Yeah, it's also on the GitHub registry page somewhere. Yeah, so just the after Docker pull, but yeah.
Oh, did I copy the whole thing? Oh yeah, I did. You're right. I'm glad Sid's awake because I'm not.
And eventually we'll want to replace that latest tag with simply like whatever you're tagging with, your release name, or if you're deploying from staging, like a commit hash. But for now, latest is good. And then for ports, you need to do 3000 because that is what we are running on.
Okay. True. And so this is not the bit that's exposed to the outside world yet. This is just the internal part.
Correct. That is the port which you can access on an internal IP address that Kubernetes assigns to this pod. So we are still missing our secret. If we just ran this as is, let's go ahead and run it as is. And we'll see that it crashes, and that's fine. So save this, and then let's go to your terminal into that directory.
Am I going to be pushing this up to GitHub?
No, we're gonna deploy it manually locally with the kubectl command. So do kubectl get pods just to see what all's running.
Kubectl. Is it get pods one word? Like
two words.
2 words. Oh yeah, because it's get and then the pods.
Yep. So
I need to do that export thing that you showed me last time, and I can't remember how to do that.
Or do you have the DigitalOcean command line utility installed?
I don't think we used that last time.
No, we didn't. But there's a way to essentially skip all that export nonsense and just run a command from the DigitalOcean page. If you go to the Kubernetes page on the browser. No, the DigitalOcean one.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's okay. And then let's see. Maybe click remind me how to do this on the right. When you first create a cluster, it gives you kind of a couple of commands. Yeah, so download the config file, number 3 on the left. And then if you have that DigitalOcean CTL command, if that's installed, then that'll just automatically set everything up.
No,
DOCTL. Okay. You could install it with brew, I think, but I'm not sure.
Is that easier than me downloading the config?
I bet it'd be about the same amount of time.
Okay, and which one do you prefer?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's just install DigitalOcean CTL.
Okay. So brew DigitalOcean.
Yeah, it should just be brew install DOCTL. Or do you not have brew set up?
I do have brew. Yeah, no, I have brew. Well, they've got loads of stuff here. I just want, like you said, the CTL. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me
brew
just do that.
Install DOCTL.
Brew install DOCTL.
Cool. And so that's going to give you a command line interface. So anything you can do from the UI in DigitalOcean, you could instead do via this command line. We're going to use it to grab the Kubernetes credentials and store them in the proper place on your system. And then
right. Okay, got you. Makes sense. I'm just going to, while you're doing that, so I don't forget, because I'm reinstalling my computer in the next couple of weeks, I just want to quickly add to brew my dot files, make sure I don't forget that.
Nice.
That I do need. I do need
DOCTL
to install that. DOCTL. Perfect. And if anyone who doesn't know what dot files are, I do have a video on it, very brief introduction, but this is what sets up and configures my computer. Feature DigitalOcean CLI. So in a nutshell, what it does is allows me to install everything. So even like I have Dropbox or Discord or whatever, all installed. Actually, I don't need Postman anymore. I should ditch that out. I don't use that anymore. But it sets up my entire computer from brew to my git config to npm global packages to my profile to everything. It's just awesome. So okay, so let's have a look. Close that. Go back to here. Let's check out the terminal. Oh, it's taking a moment.
That's all right. That's all right.
Do you want?
In the
Oh, here we
meantime,
go.
let's go ahead and define our service, or we could work on the secret thing in the meantime.
Oh yes, it's true. Let me do the secret thing as well.
Okay,
Okay,
so
good
let's
point.
look at our deployment from the Discord bot, because we're going to do almost the identical thing.
Okay, so yeah, I've got that open here. I think it was this one.
Yep. So that portion around from env down, effectively,
Got you.
including the other one. Yep. Oh no, we don't need Discord
Okay.
prefix. Sorry, you were
Yeah,
correct.
I was just going to grab one
Yeah,
and we can then
perfect.
duplicate it. Okay.
Let's
And
go
then is
back
this
to our
in?
deployment. Yep.
It's still in here. Okay. And then it's a sibling to, it says under containers.
Correct. It
Okay.
is within that API container. We're going to define an environment. So one more tab from there.
Is it one more? Oh yeah, you're right. My bad. See, pair programming is so important.
So
And that's
we'll,
probably too many, I think.
yeah, there we go.
Right.
We'll rename
That's right.
the environment variable.
Let me go to example,
Oh,
and it should be
whew.
these
You scared me
three.
clicking on that.
Yeah, no, it did take a second to see. No, these ones are the local ones. So we use
Yeah.
so in
Yep.
front of their Cassandra cloud database, they've got this open source project called Stargate, which is how you have the three different types of connections. So locally, we just run a Docker container, not container, Docker, or container, but with Compose. What's it called? Is it Composer?
Docker
But
Compose.
brings it up.
Yep.
Docker Compose, and we use that locally. So if I close that, I'm just going to paste these down here.
Yep.
And I want to copy and paste.
And so all those static values, are those set within the Docker file already? Like we don't need the static values up above from your environment file? Like the prefix and the other things? Does that make sense?
Sorry, no, that doesn't make sense.
Go back to
Can
your
you say that again?
example.env.
Yeah. Make sure it's the right one.
All the Stargate underscore things, are those set?
That-
We don't need those in the production environment either because
Those
they're
aren't needed for.
okay. They're only for dev. Got it.
Yeah, actually, we do need these ones.
Okay, but those are
So, thank you very much.
constants. We can set them either here or we could set them in the Docker file itself if they're never going to change.
Yeah, debug we could set, but this one will change.
Okay.
Those are its example tokens. So if I put this one up here, and then this one, this name, is that just how it's displayed?
That is the name of the secret in Kubernetes. So when we create the secret in Kubernetes, that's the name that we need to use there. So this would probably be Astra application token.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, and I think the name, the Kubernetes naming has to be kebab case. No underscores allowed. So I think that is good, what you just did.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. 3, and we've got 5 in total. Oh no, the debug we will remove. We said we'll put it in the other one. Approved tokens. So this one we will approve tokens.
And approved tokens, those are some secret values. What is approved tokens?
Yeah, so it allows us to have our other apps communicate with this app. So it's it's publicly read only, but to write, we only want to allow by certain apps. So we're using Passport.js to authenticate and check that the other service, be it a front end or actually it won't be a front end, but being like Discord board or on other API, has to have the exact matching token to join.
And that
So
token
in this case
is in just plain text here?
For the moment it is, I think.
Okay.
We're keeping it simple. So yes, for the moment it is plain text. It will be, again, a GitHub secret is what we'll have. And it will be, these are really short. Obviously it will be like a UUID.
Okay. And so for our purposes today, we can just maybe hard code that one, or we probably don't even need it, do we? Does it need to be set to something?
No, it doesn't actually. So should I remove it?
Yeah, let's just remove it and maybe add it to add approved tokens definitions.
Because that should still work. I'm just checking the chat to make sure I'm not making bad assumptions. And Carl's like, Eddie, screaming in the chat, Eddie, that's completely wrong. What are you talking about?
I mean, we'll see. The logs will probably yell at us if it crashes, so we'll figure it out. Soha asks, if a new approved token is added changes, would a new deployment be required?
Oh,
So in this case, because he's planning to set it as a GitHub secret that then gets deployed as a Kubernetes secret, we would need the application to restart to pick up that new secret.
okay.
So yeah, we would redeploy in that case. There would be ways to do it where if you were reading it in from a config map and then change that and change the definition of the pod. So yeah, it'll at the very least require editing the pod definition, and the easiest way to do that is a deployment. So I think the answer is yes.
But the downtime should be nothing really, because you just it brings up a pod in the background, make sure it's running, and then kind of swaps it over with the new one with the old one.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have more than one replica, you can have it set up to do that type of rolling deployment where it will bring up a new pod with the new secret, and then once that's up, bring down the old one. So you're exactly right. You could even have zero downtime if you do it that way.
Nice. Zero downtime sounds good. Okay, so I've done that. Hope that looks okay. And if that looks okay, I will check my terminal as well.
That all looks fine. We will need to then create those secrets, and we can do that either via the DigitalOcean command line tool, via the DigitalOcean GUI. Yeah.
Wouldn't I do that as... Before we did that as a GitHub secret, wouldn't we do it that way?
So on the last stream, we created it manually first, and then we added a GitHub secret to continually update it with any changes that we make. So yeah, basically anything we do manually, we can also automate via GitHub Actions.
Got you.
And so yeah, I was suggesting we just create it now, get it running, and then we can add a GitHub action to update that.
Sure, sounds good. Looks like I do now have DigitalOcean. Huh? I don't. Do not install.
Maybe you gotta...
let me just start a new. Let me just kill
maybe
this.
It's just not sourced.
Yeah, because this one doesn't quite look right. Let me just kill that. First terminal does look better. Let's just kill that. Get rid of that. Oh no, maybe it's not. DOCT. That's interesting.
Maybe it's just not auto-completing for some reason.
So if I create a new one, let me just try. Yeah, it is on the new one. So let me just can this one, and we've got a new one here.
Yeah.
You're right, it just hadn't loaded.
Cool. So I think the very first thing is it'll essentially bring up a browser to connect the command line to your DigitalOcean account. It's probably like auth or...
let's check. Auth, display commands for authentication. Okay.
Auth init, I think.
Okay. Enter your access token.
Yeah, so probably do that off screen once you copy it.
You're
gonna go to the browser and it's gonna give you something to paste in.
Oh yes, got you. Yeah, I see that now. Okay. If anyone wants to know my password, it's password. Very highly secure. I do have one. I created 4 years ago. Apparently, I could create a new one. Let's ditch that one and create a new one.
Nice. And Kyle has a question. Where would you store key maps from Kubernetes? You can commit them to the Kubernetes folder, or you can't commit them because they're secret. Yeah, exactly. So in this case, we're going to store them as GitHub secrets and then deploy them as Kubernetes secrets. And so in that way, we have them in the cluster to access via our environment variables as we were defining there. But then we also have them stored in a secure place on GitHub. GitHub secrets is not the best place to store as your sort of source of truth because there's no way to recover them. So something like most of the major clouds have a secret store that you can use where you can store them in an encrypted fashion and get them out as needed. But for this purpose, I think it's fine to have them in GitHub Actions. The problem is that you can never retrieve them from GitHub Actions once you've saved them there. There's no easy way to retrieve them.
Okay.
Looks like you're authenticated.
Authenticated, yeah.
So then let's grab that command that it had on the DigitalOcean Kubernetes page. It was just a snippet to grab your credentials. I think one more tab over.
Was it? Your memory's amazing. Was it click on? It was further up actually. This one,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
where it
there we go.
was.
Copy.
Okay.
So
Okay. Can I
this
do that on
will,
screen? Is that safe?
that is safe. Yeah, it should save the config for that cluster, D1C whatever, in the proper place. So now if you do kubectl get nodes, it should tell you about that one node that you have, or pods, doesn't matter.
Let's make this a bit wider.
So we've got our one node. It's 85 days old. It's running Kubernetes 120. Do a get pods, and we should see your Discord bot and such.
Oh, not odds. Awesome.
There we go. What's the bottom one? The Stargate deployment?
That's the actual one that we did, and that was just more of a hello world Discord bot. And then this was the real one that I took. The one we did as an example. Actually, Carl wrote the bot. It's got the few main features that we needed. I took all the stuff we did in Stargate and kind of ported it over. So this Stargate one is more just a demo project I use for talks now, where I say for best practices using, the release version number matches the deployed version number matches the Docker version number matches. If you do kind of Discord bot command version, it matches all the same. So that's kind of staying where it is and won't really move any further in terms of features. But Eddie bot is going to move further in terms of features.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for asking. And Kyle says Azure Key Vault comes to mind. Yeah. So Azure has one. Google Cloud Secrets, I think, is one. Okay. AWS Secret Manager. They're all quite similar. HashiCorp has a product named Vault. So yeah, there's a whole bunch out there. Yeah.
What comes to mind a lot.
And so here we have a choice. Previously, we deployed into the default namespace. So that's, you just did kubectl get pods, and it gave it to you. We can isolate workloads using namespaces. It's not a security feature. It's solely for organizational purposes. So we could put everything associated with the API in the API namespace, or depending how big we think this project is going to be, if it's small enough, we could just put everything into default, and that would be fine. Like if we're going to have less than 10 microservices, then putting it all in default is probably fine. If we're going to have more than 10, we might want to create namespaces for things.
I think it would probably be under 10. So can we always move it later if we wanted to?
You certainly can, yeah. So it's not too hard to change. So yeah, let's just put it in the deployment, the default namespace for now. That should be fine.
Cool.
And
this is behind our heads. I just noticed.
Oh, that yeah, but
I've moved it over slightly.
Cool. So if you just would go back to your Kubernetes folder, so I think cd Kubernetes.
Oh yeah.
And then let's just do a kubectl apply. So the way that you actually add resources to the cluster, deploy your configurations is kubectl apply -f for files, and then the name, so deployment.yaml. Yep, looks fine.
Let's do it. I'm nervous. The stress created.
It's created, but if you do get pods, we're going to see it's not going to actually deploy because those secrets don't exist. It's gonna whine at us, but that's okay. So it's going to be stuck in that container creating state forever. So let's copy one of those names and describe it. So kubectl describe pod.
Like that.
Yeah. And so here let's look at those errors. Either make your window a tiny bit wider, zoom out one click maybe just so we can see it. Essentially it's saying I was able to get the Docker image. I pulled the image from the registry, but I was unable to find the secret that you told me existed called Astra application token. And so it's just going to sit there until we satisfy that issue. And so we need to create those secrets so that we can actually successfully start the container.
Got you. I think, Carl is on the ball, already wrote. They need to create the secrets first. I'm like, yes, dope. I got too excited.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew it was going to fail. I baited him into it, but he fell for it.
It's a trap.
So yeah, exactly. It's a trap. Yeah, so I just wanted to show what the error message would look like if we try to deploy without access to those. So if you ever have a pod that is not starting, you can always describe it, and it'll tell you the sequence of events that took place, and probably give you an error message telling you why it's not working. So we can just create those secrets in the, remember, you can just go into the cluster interface here. Yep, on that page, scroll up. Settings,
Dashboard
maybe?
one?
Yeah, dashboard. That'd be great.
I think it was in here. I think this is the dashboard I
Yeah.
opened earlier.
So down
And
secrets.
secrets.
And so, yeah, you'll probably want to do this off screen. I don't know. It probably obfuscates the characters, but you never know. So we'll want to create 3, one for each of those secret names that we have in our deployment.yaml, and we'll want to paste the values from your production environment in.
I have a feeling we couldn't do this last time. Let me just check. I have a feeling we did it via a command line. I can't remember if that's correct or not. So
we did it via command line, but then I think we realized we could have done it via create from input. Like, can you just type there? What happens?
I can type here. This is for YAML or JSON. So, but it would be a type of input.
Yeah. Okay,
it would be the. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say we can do it via the command line. It's fine.
I think that's what we did last time.
Yeah.
Okay. No deployments. Let's bring that up. So we can see that's red. Okay, 3 minutes ago.
Awesome. And so to create a secret via the command line, it'll be kubectl create secret generic, I believe, is the type that we want. And then we have to give it a... I'm trying to look. There's one way where you can pass it a file. There's another way where you pass it values on the command line.
I can do it on the command line off screen, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm just, I always forget because one of them you have to base 64 encode ahead of time. The other one, it handles it for you.
It's okay. Reading documentation is...
yeah, so why don't we just... Yeah, let's just pull up... just type Kubernetes secrets into Google and we'll pull up the docs.
Let's do it. Oh, here we go. Create secret generic, empty secret, get secrets.
Yeah, so we'll want to do exactly that, but then we also need to pass it the value.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be, let's just make a so we can do create secret generic name of the secret dash from file equals and then a file name, and in that file it'll just be a text file with the value of the secret itself.
Or do we do one at a time, basically?
Yeah, we'll do one at a time here. Just I think is
okay.
The easiest.
So remind me, sorry, kubectl create secret generic,
and then the name of the secret is what we have up above. So Astra application token.
Yeah.
The kebab case version, because this is the Kubernetes name, not the environment variable.
Got you. Yep.
And then dash from dash file.
Is it an equals or is it space?
And then equals is fine, and then /.
Okay, so I'll need to update the file because at the moment, if we look from the example, this wouldn't work, would it? Because it's got.
Yeah,
are you saying
exactly.
It just needs to be the value only in the file?
So there's two different ways. You can have a secret that has both the name and the value. I think the way that we did it before is just to have the value. So let's just make a temporary file called temp secret or something.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then we'll just do it one at a time. We can use the same file for each of these and just replace the value.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do it off screen.
Yep.
Let's have a look. I'm sure people are laughing at me in the chat. I'll see some. I'll let you read the messages. Let me do this first.
All
So
right.
I can't multitask.
Ali says, so it's not just me extremely scared of secrets. No, you need to be paranoid when it comes to keeping your secrets actually secret. So never want to expose it on stream.
Okay, so there's the first one in the file. So the file I've just called secret, like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, and the file was just a text file that has just the value in it. That should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So
Is it in the same
oh,
directory?
I am in. Should be. Oh, isn't it? We're in the Kubernetes directory. Okay, sorry, I put it in one
That's
up,
fine.
which is
You
a
can
bit.
just go one up. This command can be run from wherever. That's good. Yep. Okay, so now let's update the secret name, so Astra application token, to whatever the next one was in our deployment.yaml.
Yeah. Perfect.
And then we'll update the secret file as well.
Do the file first. Before I forget.
Yeah, either one.
Okay, so file's updated, and then in this one, change this one.
Yeah, check what the name is in the deployment.yaml so we get it right. So that'll be Astra database ID. Cool. Nice.
Okay, and the last one. Okay, and the last one is the region.
And these, right, like the region, is the region a secret? I don't know.
It's probably not a secret, but I wanted it as an environment variable, so we could, if we needed to change it, we could.
Exactly. So in this case, we could just define
it
it as an environment variable, either in the Docker file or in the pod definition, and not need to store it as a secret. Could be an option.
Got you. I suppose my thinking was to keep everything in one place. If I update one of them, like say I move the location or whatever, or I reset the token, I'd remember to update all three rather than forget to update one. But you're right, it's not a secret.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fine to store there.
Europe West.
Cool. So now we have those secrets. Let's see how our deployment is looking. Either via the command line, we can do a kubectl get pods. Okay, cool. Let's see what that new error is.
Do we not need to do another deployment? Do you think it picks it up or
so because it was failing, it would have kept trying in the background looking for that secret. Okay. And so the fact that we got a different error this time makes me think that it figured it out. I think we may have needed to have the key secret.
Oh, that one not found. Did I do that one wrong?
Do get secrets, kubectl get secrets.
Get secrets.
Astra application token. Do get pods again. Let's delete those pods just to see if it maybe gave up and hasn't tried again yet. You can either delete the whole deployment, or you could delete either of those pods individually.
Delete the whole deployment? I don't mind. It's quite easy to do another redeployment. Yeah. Whatever you think is best.
Yeah, so let's go into our Kubernetes folder. For deleting, we don't need to, but then to reapply, we'll need to. And we called it kubectl delete deployment. Then the name of the deployment was what? Eddie Hub API deployment, I think.
Yeah, is that the one that was in the config? This one.
The top one, the name up there. Yeah.
Oh, this one. Got you. Okay. Let's go.
So now it's gone. So yeah. So now if you do get pods, it may show terminating, or they might already be gone. Yeah, so those are terminating. Now go ahead and reapply that same config. So kubectl apply -f. And now get pods and do a -w. That'll just watch -w at the
Can I do
end.
it at the end?
Yeah,
Or
at the end.
can it be
And so then it'll
okay.
basically tell us anytime there's a new state change. So if it goes from pending to container creating error, it would give us a new line. So we don't have to keep issuing the same command over and over. And it looks like
Nice.
we are getting that same error. Ali's pointing out that they need to be base 64. They do, but my understanding is that the create secret from file command actually does that encoding for us. I could be incorrect there though. So yeah, I think we just.
So when we did it via the GitHub action, we definitely didn't encode it. I literally just copied and pasted the values into GitHub secrets.
So yeah, why don't we?
Some magic happened there as well.
Why don't we just look at how we did it there, since we know it works, and we can look in the GitHub action for that command, and then.
So what we did is because in the GitHub secrets, I literally just pasted the values straight in for that.
Yeah, but where are we updating? Are you updating the Kubernetes secrets with each deploy? I think we had talked about that as a to-do, but I don't know if it got to done.
I think we did it as a to-do. I don't think we did it. No, you're right. Actually, no, it was just a to-do because there's nothing in there.
Okay.
Let me just check the action real quick. Make sure we didn't put a command in there or something. I don't think we did. And I haven't had to update it, so I haven't come across that issue. So no, I don't think we have done it.
Okay. So let's describe that again, just so we check the error. Yeah, I'm almost sure that you can read from a plain text file, and the create secret command will handle the.
Anyone in particular? Just this one?
Yeah, they should have the same error. Couldn't find key in secret. Okay. No, that's good. That means it found the secret, but this time it was looking for that key, but all we did was put in the value. So instead, I think we actually want it to be in the secret file when we do the create secret command. We want it to have Astra application token equals blah.
Okay, so can we delete the stuff we've created already, the secrets?
We can. We can just delete them, or I think we can just do update.
Because won't they be? Oh, okay, yeah. If we do an update, because we still need all three. I was thinking we only need one, but no, you're right. It will need to be equal to, so we still need three. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. So if we do the secrets, and we create a secret from that, we'll do the region first.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think you'll need to do update secret here, or
okay.
just because it already exists, or you can delete it and then recreate it.
Let's do.
Is that even good? Is there even an update? Am I making that up?
I'll let you check while I create the file.
Yeah, I think you probably need to delete it and then recreate it.
Okay, that's fine. So I just do
delete. And then we probably don't need the from file or the generic. Yep. And then do it for the other two probably just while we're here.
Yeah, good idea. I forget what they were now.
Token.
It was, ID was another one.
And then just
it
token.
Was a token run. Application token.
Okay.
Perfect.
So now in that text file, we're going to have Astra underscore application token equals blah.
Yeah. I'm going to do the region one first. I'm kind of working backwards this time.
Yeah. I think there's actually, you can specify a key.
Oops. There we go. Did you want me to change something?
No, I think we could read directly from that environment file, but the way that we're doing it, since it's only 3, we'll just power through.
Okay. So there's, let me update the file.
So yeah, that one had the Astra underscore region equals something.
Astra in capitals. There was Astra underscore database underscore region in capitals
Correct.
equal.
Yeah, the
Is that
name of the
correct?
environment
Yeah.
variable that we're looking for.
Perfect. And then this is going to be the ID. Okay.
And Guy is suggesting we could have done kubectl edit. We certainly could have. That YAML would then be the base64 encoded version, and we didn't want to do it on screen, so that's why I had him delete and remove. But you can do a kubectl edit command. Cool.
This was application token. And just to clarify, I can show you what was in one of the files just to make sure. I'll show you the region one, but it was like that. What was in one of the files?
Yeah, I think that looks good.
Okay.
Not 100% sure whether the quotes are needed, but I think they're okay. And so now let's delete that deployment and recreate it again, just for good measure.
Delete. Where is it? Delete.
Space deployment. There we go. Go into your Kubernetes folder.
I almost forgot that.
Apply. Yep. And now let's do a get pods -w.
Oh yeah, W. Forgot about that as well.
So it's terminating, and those new ones still have the same error.
Failed.
So let's see what it says. It'll be a new UUID.
Probably need to create some terminal aliases to make these a bit shorter. Oh, not that one. This one. Like, I don't know, KDP, and then you paste in the number, and it just kind of does it. Still doesn't like that.
So let's do off screen. Do a kubectl get secret -o -o and then YAML, and it'll give it to you in YAML. Or we could even use this syntax maybe instead of. So I'll just throw it up on the screen. Basically, instead of from file, we could do that. In case we're doing something funny with the file.
Okay, so I'll do that again.
Let's delete these. Delete all three. Sorry about that.
No problem. That's fine. So if I delete the ID, delete region. Oops. And I delete the application token. So if I do kubectl get secrets, it shouldn't be there.
Correct.
It's not there. Perfect. And then on the other screen, I will do the one rather than from file, from literal. Okay. Let's have a look. Key value. So I don't, with the value, I don't put quotes around it.
I don't think you need quotes. No.
Okay.
Yeah, no quotes on either. I don't think.
Okay. And no quotes for neither, and it's definitely the uppercase version of the token name.
Yes. Okay. And if there's any $signs or backslashes or asterisks, you might.
Only colons.
Okay, colons should be fine.
Okay. Oh, exactly one name is required. Got two.
Did you have an equal between?
Oh yes, it's because it's the yes. There's an equal because it's if I bring it back up, because you gave me this.
Yep.
And so I've got two equals where you've got from literal. And you've got an equals there. Is that an issue?
No, that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Let's just do one with random. So do create secret dummy.
I fixed it. I copied and pasted it from YouTube. I did get some weird
extra characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my bad.
No worries.
It's created. Okay.
Cool. And so let's just do it with the token one, because then we
Okay,
should
I've
get,
done that.
yeah, let's go ahead and see what our error is now, since it should give us a different error if it can find that one. It'll say it can't find the other one.
So if I get pods.
Then
Okay.
describe
And I can
one.
grab that. Which one did I do? I did the application token. That's the one I did.
Still can't find it. That is weird. Do a describe on that secret now, just to see.
As in.
Describe the secret name.
Off screen.
Describe actually won't give us. I don't think you can do it off screen just to make sure, but it shouldn't.
No, that should be fine. I think it'd be weird if it gave it to us.
You
So,
you have to tell it what to give you back.
So describe. Is it like this? Secret, and then the secret name.
Yep. But the
Like
secret
that?
name is the lowercase kebab.
Oh yes, you're right. Sorry, my bad. Astra application. I picked the worst one to do as an example, the token one, the most secure one. We good? We confident it's going to work? What do people think in the chat? That not that it's going to work, but it's not going to bring out all my private bank details and stuff. Let's do it. I'm nervous now. I'm taking it off screen. I'm too nervous. It's taking too long. Okay, now we're okay.
Yeah, so data.
Oh, okay, brilliant. So it does remove it. It says that's the
Right.
and it has got I put equals and it's put a colon. So obviously it knows what the name is and it knows what the data is.
So does that look the same as what it's looking for? Astra application token. It looks the same to me. Up above where it's saying it can't find it.
Yeah, it does look. Application. I haven't spelt it badly, have I? May I make a suggestion? This might be a terrible idea. What about deploying it rather than the command line? Do it via the GitHub action the same way we did the other one. I know we can't update the tokens, but it should work first time round. Was that the case, if I understood that correctly?
I mean, we still need to run a similar command in GitHub Actions to create these things, right? Like we will need to. That is less trivial than creating it this way, I believe.
Okay, got you. Okay, no, I trust you. Oh yes, Ali's saying if using string data, it can be plain text. If using data, it needs to be base 64. Where do I specify? What was my command? I forget now.
Yeah, so we're using string data in this case. Is my understanding.
Okay.
So I think we should be okay there, and we could define the secret as a YAML file, and then pass them that way.
This is normal development. This is what every day is like. I think for most people, nothing ever works first time. So it's good that we show the authentic side. I do have people who sometimes message me and go, Eddie, wow, you're so amazing. You built this whole API in 4 minutes and 32 seconds in your video. It's like, that took me 2 hours to record and 2 days of preparation. So I think it's good that people see the authentic side. So this is good. And it also shows why pairing is so important.
I mean, for that message, it cannot find that key in that secret. We described that secret, and it appears to have that key right there.
I'm spelling it right. I haven't made a typo. Astra _ application token.
Yeah.
And just check this. Astra application token. Astra application token. Astra application token.
Yeah. Yeah, Shyam has a good suggestion here. Why don't we create the token using for the region, since we're not worried about that one, and then see if we put in some garbage for the other ones.
Oh yes, and it should still be happy, but it won't connect to the database.
Yeah,
But that's fine.
Yeah. So let's do that. That's a good suggestion.
Should we? Can I make one small suggestion first? Has this definitely updated since last time, since we changed the secret? Is it worth deleting the deployment and trying again?
You can try it again. Yeah. Or just delete the pod, either one.
So if I deleted that,
yep.
And I can just go apply.
Yep.
And hope, just want to see if that does anything different. Okay, no, straight away it has failed.
Yeah, so why don't we go into the deployment.yaml.
Yeah.
And let's, instead of setting these to value froms, we'll just have values.
Okay.
So and so I'm just looking up so it'll be env, and then so it'll be name and then value, and then the value will just be a string, and let's just set it to abc123 foobar baz whatever.
So you don't need any of this.
We'll replace that in a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
ABC is fine. Database ID, the same thing, abc123, doesn't matter.
1, 2, 3. Can I do it as this? 4, 5, 6.
Yep, that's fine. And then let's, for the region, also hard code it here just to get it to run, and then we'll try to get it into a secret.
Yeah. So I'm going to do. I can actually do the region for real.
Sure.
If I can find it, there we go. No one steal my region, okay? It's a one-off special region. There we go.
Yeah. So now reapply that, and hopefully we'll try to start the pod and crash because we can't connect to the DB.
Do I just run this, or do I have to?
No, you can just run that, and it'll overwrite the current deployment.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think it's because
why is that? What did it not like?
Invalid value.
Just put quotes around your int. Yep.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Because the through port 3000 didn't have it. That's why. But I guess
it's expecting a number there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we're hoping we'll get a different error. Eddie Hub deployment is running, terminating, running. So let's look at one of them.
Which one do we want? This one with the error? 2 minutes ago? No, we want one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
3 seconds ago.
Yeah, that one's fine.
We'll do a describe.
Describe pod. You described secret.
What, I did the wrong one.
Okay, so let's look at the logs. Do kubectl logs and then the name of the pod.
Kubectl. Sorry.
Logs. LOGS.
Logs.
And then just the name of the pod, just what you copied.
Yep. Oh, that one. Okay. It looks good. What's wrong with that?
So.
Can I tail it?
Yeah, you can do a dash follow or something. What we'll want to do, I forget what exactly it is.
Seems like it's happy. I guess it shouldn't be trying to connect to the database just yet.
Oh, and it doesn't connect upon startup?
I don't think so, because we're using REST to connect to the database, using document REST. Then it does it on per request. It doesn't pull connections or anything like that, like you would do with anything else. Only if we use something like the Cassandra native query language connection, then it would pull connections for speed, so it's a lot faster. But no, that seems okay. So if I go describe.
So let's actually port forward and try to connect, and then we'll get an error out, right? Because we're not going to be able to connect. So
they are running now.
They're running. They're happy.
Interesting.
And Saif is reminding us that to tail those logs, we would do kubectl logs-f and then the name of the pod.
Got you. Thank you.
So we'll do that in a minute, but first let's port forward. Kubectl port-forward.
kubectl dash single dash.
Port dash forward. No dash
Sorry,
to start. Yeah.
port dash forward.
And then the name of the pod, Eddie Hub API.
Which is that one.
And then we'll paste in 3000 colon 3000. You need a space. Yep.
Hopefully I didn't delete anything off the end. Did that end in HD?
Yep.
I think it did.
It did.
Just double check. It did, yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's good.
We'll see. So now you can go to your browser and try to hit 3000, and we'll likely get an error about not being able to connect to the DB. Maybe zoom a few clicks.
Yeah, on which URL? Just localhost?
Yeah, so we just port forwarded our localhost into that container. So we just opened up a tunnel.
It works, apparently.
So Swagger wouldn't have... Does Swagger...
It would only have a database if I did this. So if I do a get, say for example on Discord, that's protected. That's a post. Sorry. If I do let me enlarge this a bit, and actually try and use it and say try it out and execute. This will probably fail. Yeah, internal 500.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. We're making progress.
Sounds good.
Cool. So now we need to get our secrets working. Can
we check the logs again of the application?
Yeah. So
just to see that.
Just kill that and then go back to the logs command. Yep. And we see that coming through.
Yes, perfect. So from Astra DataStax, it couldn't find it, which is correct.
Got it.
Perfect.
Okay, now we're gonna update the secret for the region, and we can do that all on screen. And then we'll check the environment variable in the pod once we get it running, and then hopefully we will have come up with a procedure that we can repeat off screen for the actual secrets.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Awesome. I'm excited.
Cool. So let's go back to our deployment in VS Code and update the region one to be what it was. So maybe just back out a few steps. Yeah, not all the way, but just for the region one. So go forward.
Okay.
Let's keep those hard-coded just so we can do it one at a time. Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Now let's create that Astra database region secret. And we can do that just on screen with our from literal command. So it'll be kubectl create secret. Or actually, you probably have to delete it first. Do get secrets to see what we have.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So it doesn't exist, so we'll just create it now. We're not using that one, but you could delete it if you want.
Yeah, that's true. Should I delete it?
Yeah, might as well, since it wasn't working anyways.
kubectl delete secret. Like that?
Yep.
Okay, and then kubectl create secret.
It was Astra region, what Astra database region.
And it's this name. Okay, this one. Yep. And then
dash from literal.
Sorry, dash
from literal. Literal equals, and then the key name is our uppercase.
I've got you.
Environment variable. Yep. Equals, and then our value name. Looks good. So let's do that.
Okay.
Yep. From literal. Oh, maybe it has to go before the name.
Do you want to put this one at the end? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. No.
Oh, it doesn't like that.
We need a type. Generic. So go up to.
Might go up to. Yeah, go up to. You're right. The start. That one. Yeah, and then generic.
Generic is the type.
After secret.
Yep.
Like so.
Yep.
Aha. Okay.
And so now let's restart the application. We can do that a few ways. We can do we'll use a command we haven't used yet. Let's do kubectl scale deployment. Then the name of the deployment is Eddie Hub API deployment.
Eddie Hub API deployment.
--
Okay.
replicas equals 0.
Replicas equals 0.
Do that,
Okay.
and that'll essentially tell Kubernetes to remove all replicas of our deployment, but the deployment will still exist.
Okay. Could we have deleted the deployment or no?
We could have. That'd be. I was just given another command to do something similar.
Okay.
Let's now just reapply the Kubernetes manifest, and it will update things back to how it was.
Got you. It's gone. Okay. And then apply. I see. Okay. Cool.
Bring it up. And it's running. That's a good sign.
That was quick. Wow.
So let's describe that deployment. Let's just make sure that we are indeed consuming that secret as expected.
I was expecting it to break. How come it's working?
Yeah, I was expecting it to. Actually, do a get. Well, I was expecting it to work earlier, so now I'm redeemed that it's working. kubectl get pod, name of the pod. I think, yeah, and then -o space YAML. So this will get our pod definition in YAML. And I'm just gonna I want to see the environment portion of this. Keep going up.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going. Cool. So here's our environment stuff. I just wanted to make sure that those configurations actually made it in. I thought they did, but I wanted to confirm for us. So it is indeed reading that secret from that Kubernetes secret. So I think we now just repeat that process
okay.
off screen.
For the other two.
Yeah, for the other two with our secret values. And then hope for the best.
Okay, was that how we had it? It was, wasn't it? Yes, it was secret key ref. So that is correct now. Is that correct? I think that looks right.
Value from instead of value on the first one.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, there we go. Back one more. Okay,
yep.
Perfect. So what I need to do is take this off screen and then just remind me the command that I'm running off screen is
from literal that one.
This one.
Yep. So just replace the secret name, the kebab case, the environment variable name, the capital snake case, and the value with the correct values. Maybe just do them both, I suppose. It's fine. And I'll do some comment reading while you're off screen.
Sounds good.
Kyle asks, is it considerable delivering an FE front-end application based on React, for example, from an Nginx pod, or would you go serverless front-end deployment instead, or is it personal preference? Yeah, if you can serve your front-end from a variety of places. If you already have a Kubernetes cluster set up, I would probably suggest, just as you commented, add a build your React app into the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, put those into an Nginx pod, and use that to serve them. You could obviously host them elsewhere. You could put them in a GCS bucket, an S3 bucket. You could put them on Netlify. But if you already have the tooling and stuff set up for Kubernetes, I think it makes a lot of sense to serve them from an Nginx pod. Saif is frustrated with us typing out kubectl over and over and says, please use the shortcuts. So yeah, I don't know if those would be out of the box or if you would have to define aliases for all those. I think you'd probably have to define aliases. Shyam is asking us to describe the secrets, which we could do. We'll see. Since it worked, we're hoping we can just cross our fingers and be confused about what happened before, but we will find out here in a minute whether or not that is the case.
Almost done.
Ali's commenting that, let me show the rest of that. Nginx gives you an extra layer with lots of configuration options, which is very true. But if you're just using it to serve your front end, it's pretty straightforward. You do need to then configure things like how you connect to the API and that sort of thing within your Nginx config.
Okay, I'm done. I'm just creating a new terminal because as soon as I need to refer back to any of that, I've got it on the other screen. Okay.
All right, we're gonna just reapply the Kubernetes config and it should update things. Whoa, that was... Hopefully no one caught that frame.
Did that come up?
I saw it briefly.
Why would that come up? Because I was searching my history for apply. So I mean,
Oh yeah, maybe it was something else.
AP. No, maybe it was. I'll try it on another screen now. Let me do it slowly on the screen. A's fine. P. Oh no, you're right. AP from application token. I was so careful creating a new terminal and everything, and I must remember after the stream to reset that. Damn it. I was trying to be so careful. Okay. So I could do get pods.
You applied it? Yeah, get pods. It seems like they're running.
So can I try it in the browser? Is that good?
Yeah.
That's too good to be true. So if I need to get the IP of the... can we reach it? We haven't created a route for it though yet, have we?
No, but we'll just do that port forward trick again, and then we'll move on once we get that working.
How did I do the port forward again?
kubectl port forward, name of the pod. There we go. Just replace the name of the pod with one of the new names.
Oh, not that one. That could have been scary. That could actually mean a token. I should be careful what I copy and what I paste.
Note to self: do tokens ahead of stream.
Yeah.
So now you can go to your localhost 3000 and hit. Yeah, that should now.
Oh, not that one. Refresh. Okay, that looks good. So if we try it out, execute, we should get no data. Oh, we've got 500.
Okay. Well, we can look at the logs and see what's going on.
Okay.
So now we'll want logs for that.
Logs, and it won't be that one.
And Carl's asking if Kubernetes is overkill for smaller projects. I think it is almost certainly overkill for smaller projects. It really starts to show its value when you have lots of services and lots of team members, and once you get the tooling in place to make it work. If you already know a lot about Kubernetes, then it gives you a lot of niceness out of the box and you can get started pretty quickly. But if you are just learning, there's so many other things to learn that it could be a distraction, I think, if you're trying to learn Kubernetes as well right out of the box.
I think one positive, though, is that you can host lots of apps on a single server, which I think is really, really good. And yes, you can do it other ways, but it just seems like such a clean way. Like once you kind of get it up and working, it seems such a clean way to just have loads of apps on a single server. And I don't know, it just seems really clean.
Yeah, if you need more than one replica of apps, then it gives you a lot of niceness there. And it gives you a lot of niceness around upgrades and that sort of thing. If you just want to run multiple apps on a server, you can do that with Docker Compose or PM2 or there's a number of solutions there. What did we get on the error not found?
What is it not like? The database ID, Europe West. Europe West. What's it not finding? It should be able to make a call out. That shouldn't be a problem.
So
I spelled anything Europe.
Is the
West
database
1.
ID literally Astra_database ID?
Oh no, that's not that's wrong. Let me check my terminal. You're right.
So I wonder if you created the token and stored that as your secret value, maybe.
I did. Sorry,
That's
my
okay.
bad. I was too copy and paste trigger happy. So I need to delete the secret. delete secret. Not that.
ID.
I'm
Yep.
just checking the other one. The other one is fine. The token actually one is fine.
Yep.
It is the database ID.
Well, the
Sid's
token
gonna be
one's
mad at
public
me.
now, so
Don't remind people. And then this one, I will create it again, but correctly this time. Hopefully, because I don't have the ID, they can't do anything too bad just yet.
true.
Give me time to give me time to kind of reset it all. Okay, so that is triple check Eddie, database ID, deleted it, and I'm creating it. Yes. Okay, that's created. So should this automatically reboot and do its thing?
No, I think we'll need to trigger a reboot there. So we can delete and recreate, or we can, unless we change the configuration, which we didn't. So yeah, I think we'll need to.
Okay.
You could
Do you
do
want to do
delete.
the replica trick?
You could do the replica
Or
trick.
delete?
That's fine. And then you can reapply kubectl, or you could scale. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Should be.
Okay.
All right. Coming up. Everything's running.
Oh, we're up and running.
So now let's go back to our Swagger page.
Oh, I'll do a port
Yep,
forward.
port forward. Yep, it'll be new pod name though. And you can actually port forward the service once we create it. We haven't created the service, so I guess you can't port forward if it doesn't exist. And then pretty soon we'll have a public endpoint we can hit.
Cool. Okay. Oh, come on, Eddie. I haven't bodged anything else up yet. It should be an empty array. It's not empty. Oh, yes, because it's using some dummy data that I think I used. But it works.
It works. All right. We've got our API deployed.
Nice.
Cool. I don't have a soundboard, so I can't do a celebration sound.
I can do a
All
sound.
Right, cool.
No, I can do sounds. Here we go. What do we want? Celebration, victory.
Nice.
How's that one?
Pretty good. Okay.
Should I have the fail sound for before?
Yeah, we don't need that. We keep fail free.
Fail free. Fail often.
Cool. So now the next thing is to create the service. So that's that internal load balancing layer. So because we have two pods, we want to load balance across them. So we'll go into our Kubernetes folder in VS Code.
Yep.
And we will create a new file called service.yaml, or we could just put it in the same file depending on how you want to organize things. Probably just do a new file.
Create a new file, I think, if that's okay.
Yep. And so here, again, I just go to the Kubernetes documentation generally.
I'm trying to rush ahead and I'm trying to learn from you and see how you think. So hopefully, services. Would that be right?
Service. It's fine.
Service. Here we go.
Cool. That looks fine.
Okay.
And so again, we got an API version. We've got telling it it's the type service. Metadata, this will be the name of our service. So probably call it Eddie Hub API service. Or just Eddie Hub API. But because we went with deployment on the other one, let's go ahead and do that. Selector. So this is how you tell Kubernetes how to find the deployment. And so this app needs to match what we called our API, which I believe was just...
Is that correct?
I think it did not have the deployment if you go to the other tab. So see how under labels...
I'm looking at this one.
Yeah, we're just labeling the application Eddie Hub API. TCP, and then let's do port 3000 for both is fine. 3000. For port and
both,
yeah,
so
it doesn't matter, but yeah, let's do 3000.
Okay.
Cool. Let's apply that.
So with this one, do I
just change the name of the file?
Service file. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. See, that's why when you know how to do this, it is fairly straightforward. There's just a lot to learn at the beginning.
So that's created.
It does seem to make sense.
We could do some testing there, but I think it's simple enough that we probably just can continue on. So essentially now we have an object. You could do kubectl get service.
Kubectl get service.
And we have that Eddie Hub API service. It has a cluster IP. It has no external IP, and it's listening on port 3000. Okay. It takes requests, and it forwards them to one of the 2 pods in our deployment on port 3000, because we set target port to 3000 as well.
Okay, and it will just load balance between the 2 pods. It will handle that.
Yep, exactly. And so internally, whenever you want to connect to this API from another service, you will just use this internal service name. There's like a host path syntax that you use, and so for the URL, rather than call some public URL, you can actually just call this internally if you want.
I see.
But we will have a public URL here in a second once we set up our Ingress.
Cool.
And so then for Ingress, again, let's just Google Kubernetes Ingress Nginx maybe.
Okay, and I think Carl is right. Carl has mentioned the data is from our end-to-end test. Yes, it actually is. So that database, that we're using at the moment is from the end-to-end test data. So it's not too bad. Ingress is just search for here, or should I search it on Google?
Either one. Let's see.
Is this like this?
Yeah, that looks good. That's pretty close to what we want.
Cool. Do I create a new one?
Yeah, let's call it Ingress. Yeah, I would probably put all these in one, but I think it's fine to have them separate as well. Like, it depends on the complexity, right? If it's easier to have them in one and then apply them all at once, separate's good too. I don't know. I'm indecisive on that.
And if I wanted to put them into one, it literally just...
You could just put like...
Copy and paste one under the other.
Yeah, I usually put three dashes between them just to separate things. I guess if you want to be able to make changes to one and not have to redeploy the others, then I guess having them separate's good. But now we'll have to do 3 separate kubectl applies is the only downside.
Got it. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, interesting. Okay. Ingress name.
Ingress name, we can call it whatever we want. Let's call it Eddie Hub API Ingress.
Because is this just for the API part?
This is the name of the object in Kubernetes. So when we do like kubectl get ingress, it'll show this name. And sorry, my comment overlay is behaving funny, I think. I'm trying to clear it, so I might just remove that for now. Let's see.
No worries, I'll read the chat while you're doing that. Carl asks, can you actually do a code zip deployment to a node pod, or can you only deploy via Docker images? I think only via Docker images is my understanding.
Can you do a code zip deploy? Yeah, everything in Kubernetes is container-based, so you'll want to host those images in a registry somewhere that you have access to, and then Kubernetes will, or the kubelet will talk to the container runtime and pull down the images and redeploy.
So remind myself some other tasks that I need.
So we did a couple too.
We did some of these, actually. You're right. So we've done the deployment config. We didn't do the service yet, right? But we did the ingress.
Oh no, we did just do the service. The service was that really quick one. We went through it in about 30 seconds.
That's true.
And we're working on the ingress right now.
We haven't done the into database GitHub secrets yet, but I must remember to reset data stacks. So DB test database secret. Must remember to do that. Oh, that does that sometimes. I don't know why it does that. If you refresh a few times, eventually it goes. Anyway, okay. The path. This is the path to get to our API.
Yes. So in this case, I think for now, let's just do the root path. So any request will go through. And eventually, this is where you'll go in if you have multiple services all hosted in this Kubernetes server, and you want this Nginx Ingress controller to route different host names to different things, different routes to different things. That's where this config will come into play. For now, let's just take everything and pass it on. So that is fine.
It sounds good.
Backend, the service is that service we just defined. So it's going to be Eddie Hub API service, I believe. Or no, just, yeah, you're right. Eddie Hub API. No, Eddie Hub API service.
Okay.
The name of the service.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Okay.
And then port.
Is this the one it connects to or the one it's receiving?
I think it is the one that it connects to. So I think we'll do 3000 there.
Okay.
We'll find out though.
Yep.
Everything else
easy to fix
looks okay. Let's go ahead and apply that one as well.
I just see Ali's message. What are you thinking? Ali, is my background real? Yeah, it is. Is that my printer in the corner over there? No, it's not real. It's this is my setup. So no, it's not real at all. But thank you very much. Considering you had to question it, makes me think, okay, it looks pretty good. Like pretty fake good, if that makes sense.
Cool. So
I can do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And so on when I'm live streaming by myself.
Got the green screen going. Yeah, so if we just apply this resource, it's going to create that ingress, and then we should already have an external load balancer that was set up when you installed the ingress controller on the cluster. So let's go back to the Kubernetes cluster in DigitalOcean. Ingresses down under service. Okay. And so there is a public IP that you are on accessing it, right? Hold on, your volume just dropped. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did my headphones go? Test 1, 2.
Is that better?
That's
now?
better. Maybe with all the switching, we lost it.
That is really odd why that dropped. Yeah. Okay, so that is me going to the external IP.
Okay.
And I was going to do Swagger
yeah.
on here. Oh no, it doesn't work in this browser. I remember. Let's go back to a real browser. Oh no, it doesn't work there either.
Okay, no,
that's odd.
So just go to the root path. So that means we have something
that works.
Like the ingress is working, but something about our path configuration is wrong.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So something in here, we are hitting the right service, we're hitting the right port, but something is not getting forwarded along. And so this is where we're going to do some Googling, I think, and figure out how we need to configure this path setup so that essentially anything we have after a request, we want to forward into that pod, right?
Oh, yes. We're like a wildcard or something.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe go back to that page with the documentation.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my bad.
You're good.
Which was over here. Ingress rules, okay.
And so eventually we'll add a host, which will be like api.eddiehub.org or something.
Yes, yep. I've got that open already to create some subdomains.
Yep, so we'll do that, but let's get this route thing working first, and then we'll add in our subdomain.
Path type, so we've used prefix. It's not exact, so I would have thought that would have worked. Examples, request path matches yes, matches yes.
Right, it should just pass it through. Let's look at the logs. Like. Let's reduce the number of pods down to 1 so that we only have 1 pod. I think there is a way to tail across multiple, but for now, let's just...
Do we do that with the
replicas equals 1? That should be fine.
Okay. Not describe. We want to get the pods first. Get pods about the W. Find out what we've got. We've got this one. And then log. Here we go. Oh, I need the tail, right? It was the F.
Yep.
F was F.
Yeah, dash F.
It was F.
And so now,
Okay.
if we go back and hit that endpoint,
I have to do the failing endpoint with the /
sure. Although I'm suspecting that it's just not that request is not making it into the pod. You know, because before that worked.
Okay. Well, interesting to see how we debug. Can I not just put a star at the end?
We can use wildcards in
I'm
the
joking.
host name, but
Oh yes.
I think in the path name, in path, I was expecting it to just pass everything right along. Go back to your DigitalOcean config and go to the networking portion. I just want to check one thing.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Go back to DigitalOcean.
Oh, DigitalOcean. Yep.
And then let's just go to
dashboard.
the main DigitalOcean page. That one. Go to networking.
Oh, you think I bodged it up?
No, I don't know. Just
it's good to check. Networking.
Click on that load balancer. Yep.
I created 3 hours ago. Probably wrong.
And so click into it. Does it give us any more info? Or is it not even clickable? Oh no, there we go. Click IPv4. Yeah, copy that address and go to it.
Okay, that's not loading.
That's not loading.
It's that. There's a floating one, which should be the one which is external. Maybe I bodged it up with the floating one.
The other one should be external, right?
Oh yeah, you should. It could change, I suppose. That's the issue. And what port would it be on? Would it be on 80?
So by default, we'll make a request on 80, but then I would expect that to then the Nginx controller to pick that up and continue on with it. Let's go ahead and look at the do get namespaces, kubectl get namespaces.
Let me open another window. Keep that going. What make this bigger? kubectl. Oh, I can do it from here. It's fine. Yep. Get namespaces.
So let's do get pods within Ingress Nginx. So Ingress Nginx is a namespace that was created automatically when you did the one-click install.
Got you.
And so there should be a.
How do I specify?
Get pods -n space Ingress Nginx.
-n.
Yep, and then the name Ingress Nginx.
So this was created automatically, is what you're saying, when I did my click and point stuff.
And so that third pod there should be the one that we care about. You need the whole name, and let's get the logs there. So this is the actual Nginx controller that's handling all this stuff.
Got you.
You do need the -n ingress.
Right. Okay. And then just the name like that. Does that work?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So looks cool. I probably want to do a -f, right?
Yeah. If we're making new requests, that should be good.
So I make a new request and just
and so I mean we see that last one we made. It was a get swagger request. Default EddiePub API service on 3000.
Should I make it wider? Sorry, does that help? Make it wider?
Oh, that's fine.
Or have I just confused you some more?
Go back to VS Code real quick for the ingress.
Yeah.
You have API ingress. That all looks correct.
And it's definitely service because the other reason why I ask is because the other ones we did it.
You could try that, but I think that would be the name of the service. Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in applying that and checking, but I'm pretty sure it was
And it would probably just would it break, I suppose, if it wasn't happy with it, or would
Uh,
it try it?
it would probably, when we try to hit that endpoint, the public IP that we hit before, nothing would happen.
Okay, so it wouldn't. Okay, it wouldn't break on deployment. It will break on when we try to actually use it. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, Nginx is happy to do whatever we tell it. We just have to tell it the right thing.
got you. So
That's
apply
fine.
ingress.
And then if you go back to that, I think it was the IP for the ingress itself from the Kubernetes dashboard.
Is this the
one
one?
tab over.
Oh, no,
That ingress. Yeah, that's where you want to be.
Oh, this
That
one.
ingress,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so
I
now
see. Okay.
it's unable to find our
Must have been.
service. Maybe just refresh to make sure that that's what we're getting again. Yeah, so it did need to be dash service to find
Okay.
our service. So that was correct. And port 3000 must be correct as well.
Okay, so that's good. So if I've done that, if I give it a moment and click on this again, it probably needs a moment. There we go. Okay, so it's got that. Yeah, the route works.
Yeah, try Swagger
just
again just to see if we're
So
fooling ourselves
let me
in
copy that.
Chrome.
Yeah, in Chrome. It was 148, but I want to paste it in anyway and go Swagger. It's going to work now, isn't it? No, it didn't.
But we didn't go open the terminal, see what we got back, like what error or developer tools. Sorry. Like we got
Okay.
like what did the response actually give us? Zoom in a bit too.
Sorry, my 5K screen. So we don't need what's new. Console. Cert authority invalid. But that's just for the favicon, I
that's
think.
fine.
So go to network. Have we got anything in there?
Now refresh now that you have the network tab open.
Oh yeah, good point. I can't make that any. I can just make that slightly smaller just so I can see a bit. I wonder if I can hit something. I could hit something else on the UI. I could just go directly or make a GET request. So I could go to. What did we do? I can't remember what we did in Swagger. Was it? Have I got it open still? Discord. So if I do Discord. Oh, it does work.
Okay, so there's
Swagger
something
does
interesting
it.
going on with that. Yeah,
But then the data does come back.
so something about the configuration on loading Swagger it doesn't like.
Okay, that's fine. That's something we can look into later on.
Yeah.
But it has deployed the API.
It has deployed the API, and we have that service in front of it, and then we have the ingress in front of it. The other thing that didn't seem to be working quite right was we wanted that to be hooked up to that IP address for the ingress that we found in our networking tab here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this one, if I go back to the beginning, go networking, load balancers. Would it not be this one?
Oh, that that
balance?
is, and that's where we were just at, right? 67,207.
I think so. 48. I mean, copy it again, and we can try that. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
perfect.
So that is actually working. So when we go in there, why do we get a different one? Oh, then we went into this one, which is. This is the Kubernetes cluster, right? Okay.
So
now we've gone into
droplet,
this.
the droplet itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misled you there, I think.
No, it's okay. No worries. It's all part of the fun.
So now we have a public IP, and now let's create a DNS record pointing to it.
Awesome. So I want
the 67,207 one. That one.
This one. However, it's got a floating IP though, right? Isn't that the one I want? Would that work?
No, floating IP would change, right? You want the IP on that load balancer.
My understanding is the floating IP doesn't change.
That'd be a static.
IP.
Floating IP is a static.
It's
IP.
a weird naming, really weird naming convention. Because floating, you'd think would change, but I think the whole point I mean by floating is that you can change what's underneath it. I guess.
Well, try that top one and see if it's connected. I guess. Oh no, that's the one that we had. That's a floating one. That's good.
Is this the one we had already? No, we had a different one.
We had a different one.
Yeah, we had 148. So this should be the same. No, it's not going to work. So I assigned it. Maybe I assigned it to the wrong
Well, it looks
thing.
like
Oh,
you
I assigned
assigned
it
it
to
to
the
the
Kubernetes
node
cluster.
versus the
Yeah,
load
it's wrong.
balancer. I think the load
So
balancer. Oh, I see. You're trying to have a floating IP that you could change across multiple different load balancers.
well, no, I thought the load balancer IP might change. So rather than me updating the DNS, I thought
Hmm.
you'd give it a floating IP. So let me delete that one that I created like a few hours ago. So if I just delete that, yes, I'm not using that for anything. And what I did was select droplet, but I think I selected, I selected the that one. But I guess you can't do it to a load balancer. So maybe you're right that it's always.
Yeah, I think they're managing the IPs for that load balancer. So I think
Right.
that's what we want.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, I made it more complicated. I broke it.
And
Put my hands
so,
up. My fault.
so now what do we want? API.eddiehub.org?
I think API, yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
So hopefully it hasn't locked me out. Probably has. Oh, no, it hasn't. Okay, so we've got API to EddieHub. I want to change some details on it. I don't like one-on-one. Okay, it's been created. Right, I'm guessing it's going to take me to here.
Now we just want an
just
A record
DNS.
pointing to that.
Okay, so add record type, an A record points to that. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, save. Okay, awesome.
So was there
And
already an
then-
A record created? What was that pointing to?
Oh yeah, there was one already created.
That.
Do we need to ditch?
Yeah, I think we need to ditch that.
Because this is for still on the subdomain, right? They haven't made this. Oh no, has this gone back to the beginning? Subdomains. Let me just check. I don't like this interface. DNS. Oh no, you're right. It has. It's still
Well,
there. Yeah, because it's filtered via API.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to delete this one,
correct.
right?
We want the 67. We can get rid of the 217.
Okay, delete. Yeah, delete it.
And so because of how DNS caching works, it might be a while before this works, but we can try it.
Just deleting the www one. Don't know why it created that. Okay, that's gone.
So let's just try going to api.eddiehub.org. Anyone in the chat can try it as well, I suppose.
EddieHub.
I'm in.
Oh, it works.
That's you never know when you're updating
That's
DNS on the fly.
That's awesome.
I'm able to get Discord details out.
Nice.
Maybe zoom a few clicks, maybe.
Yeah,
But
my bad.
You're good. Cool. So we now have our service, or sorry, we have our deployment, which I think we only have it running one pod right now, but we could add more. Then we have our service, which is an internal load balancer. Then we have our Ingress, which is pointing to that service and allows the Nginx Ingress controller to map these incoming requests onto our API. When we eventually add more things that need to come in via that Ingress, we would need to add a host block to this Ingress controller specification.
I did see that. Is that this thing?
Yeah, exactly. So that would allow us to then, if we had requests coming in on api.eddiehub.org, we could send them to this rule, and then we could have a separate rule for a different host, whatever we want, blog.eddiehub.api, and that could send it to some other service, which is in front of a pod that's hosting your blog.
Okay. So that's something we don't need to do now because we're passing everything through to that same service.
Exactly. Because we have a single rule and we're just passing everything through, that's why we didn't have to do it now. You could add a to-do maybe there in the where the host would go, or we could add the host. Let's just go ahead and add the host to make sure it doesn't break anything.
Okay. So it's in above the HTTP.
Yep, at the same level. Kyle's saying it's not working for him.
DNS is a bit weird though. It might take
true,
time
depending
to
where you're
go
at.
through. That's the only thing.
It's got to propagate.
Usually it's pretty quick the first time you do it, and it's
Exactly,
slow
yeah.
afterwards.
And depending how long you set that
So
TTL value, right now I think we had it set to an hour. That's how long the DNS system is going to cache the record. But yeah, that looks okay. Let's go ahead and apply that.
Carl, maybe try a different computer, try your phone or something. Depends where it's cached. It's cached in so many places as well.
Yeah, so I'm still
Should we
able to
try
load it.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still works.
And so yeah, then
Um,
if you have another service, you can add another rule to that ingress. Yeah.
awesome. I just don't know why that Swagger one doesn't work, but we can have a look at that. I can have a look at that afterwards. It's
Yeah, that
not an
one
issue.
might take a little time to debug. It looks like we were trying to maybe we don't have it configured to allow external requests to that particular location. I'm not sure.
No problem. This is a big plus having the API publicly available, because now we can start deploying your other apps to read from it and all the rest. We've got like I said, live maps, members directory, like so many cool things you want to build. Okay, so if we go back to our list of things, so Ingress config we did to route traffic, tick, and we're not deploying via GitHub Action yet. And if you're short on time as well, we can always do this another time and so forth. So we've been going for over 2 hours, so
We have been.
I do
That's
appreciate
all
your
right.
time.
The other thing, I think currently it is set up for HTTP. I don't know that we have it. I don't think we have it set up for secure yet. HTTPS. Yeah, it's saying. Ta-da.
Oh, Carl, it works on your iPhone. Must be a caching issue. So hopefully in the next hour or so that will work.
Cool. So then, yeah, there's some additional configuration that we'll need to do to get it set up for with TLS for HTTPS.
Okay.
So maybe add that as a to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got HTTPS, GitHub Actions, updating the secrets in real time or from GitHub Actions, and then reset the token.
Oh yeah, I need to reset the token.
You have that at the bottom, yeah.
Maybe think of something else. Oh yeah, a Swagger issue. Swagger.
It might be that maybe it was just complaining that we were over HTTP and it didn't like that. I don't know.
Possibly.
But
I think I've got the terminal still open. I don't know if anything. I mean, it hasn't complained. It looks like it hasn't even made it through to here, which is strange. I mean, it could be going through to the other pod. We do have two, I think. Right? Not describe, get. Not that one. Oh no, we do only have one.
yeah, should be getting.
Oh, it's not in debug mode.
Oh, so we're not getting out. Yeah.
We're not going to get any extra information out.
Yeah, and then
And we haven't.
I was just saying, Kyle said he's already
defaults,
opened an issue for the Swagger problem, so he's on it.
Awesome, thanks.
And
it doesn't get logged if the environment variable is not set to true. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot to pause at.
I think so.
Got everything deployed. We got our external IP mapped to a DNS record. A couple more steps to go, but not bad for one stream. Some debugging on the secrets issue. We don't actually know what the issue was, right? We just kind of tried it again and ended up working.
It's probably a typo on my side or something.
Could have been.
Not being able to have those shown to what I was doing, the kind of
tougher to pair program.
Numbers.
Audio only.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably I put it down to being my fault.
Cool. Well,
It
thanks.
usually
Thanks so
is.
much to everyone who hung out with us today and helped to give us some extra debugging help from the chat. And thank you to Eddie for coming on. I had a good time. We made some good progress.
Thank you so much for having me on here and helping us deploy our API. I mean, it's super awesome. Everyone watching, don't forget, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Sid's channel to learn so many awesome things about DevOps. So do that. Yes, you will not regret it. Sid, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for helping and watching and quad programming with us.
Yeah. Thanks so much. All right. Take care, everyone.